Yeah. Hey. It's your host, Troy Smith. Welcome to another episode of the Night Lounge. We're almost at 2021, coming to a close, man. So I'm going to be real brief and real quick, in and out. I say that, but welcome to the Night Lounge. Thank you all, and thank you all again for supporting the podcast, man, for supporting and showing love. Thank you to those folks that's actually giving to the PayPal and the Cash App to the Night Lounge. And but we're coming to an end of 2020. And I was listening to one of my boys, listening to my boy Trevor's podcast, the Trevor Jackson podcast, man. He was talking about the interview that Boosie had with Mike Tyson and talking about the conversation they had. And he has mentioned something on there on the show, on his show, talking about the advice given and trying to give advice to young people and all that stuff, and give advice to people in general. Something that we've talked about on multiple occasions in regards to how valuable truly is money. Money is definitely a tool. Money is definitely valuable, something that definitely want to make sure that you have to be able to take care of some things. But when you learn to the grand scheme of things, money doesn't mean everything. Now, like your boy Drake said, money sometimes, if someone tell you money don't mean everything, that mean that person may be broke. The person actually may not have any money. I get that. But I was thinking about when you listen to the old heads, when you were younger coming up, and old heads trying to tell you something, young buck, don't do that. Young buck, don't do this. Young buck, don't do that. And they trying to give you these tips. Like when I was in college, my mom was telling me about how important it was not to get credit cards. Don't get a credit card. Don't get a credit. Mess up your credit. You don't want to do that. I'm 18 years old. Don't get no credit. Don't get this. So I finally got my first opportunity to get a credit card. When they used to come down to the college campus and give away, like, you know, hey, sign up for this credit card and you get a Subway sandwich or something, or sign up for this credit card and get a t-shirt or whatever it may be. And you sign up for a little $200 credit card limit. You go spend it and don't think nothing of it. And you just blow the card away, tear it up, rip it up, don't care, your credit's shot. And I said, oh, that's what my mom was talking about. When I got older and actually tried to buy a condo and my credit was shot, I said, oh, that's what she was saying. See, I wasn't ready to receive it at that time. I wasn't ready to receive the importance about credit at that time when I was 18 years old going to college. I was just like, here she go being old again or being older. And the reason why she kept saying don't get no credit, because she didn't know any better about credit herself, because her credit was already shot. And sometimes people giving advice on their own, at their own merit from personal experiences, not really knowing how things go. So she said, don't get credit. Everyone else telling her don't get credit. Everyone's saying, don't do this, don't do that. Don't get into a relationship too soon, or don't do X, Y, Z. And the person that you're giving that advice to may not hear you at that moment. You know what I'm saying? You're giving advice to them. They may not hear you right at that moment. They may not hear anything. They only hear you being someone that they call a hater. Or you hating right now. You mad at me. Why you worried about me giving? Why can't I get no credit? So I'm going back to when Trevor was talking about how, when you learn over time. Mike was asking Boosie, why do you act the way you do? Who are you? And he said, man, I'm from the hood. I'm from the streets. I'm from the slums and blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah, but who are you though? What made you be like this? Well, you can say you're from the slum. You can say you're from the hood. You can tell. You can say I'm from my dad wasn't there. No one was there for me. That could be an excuse for a certain period of time. After a while, it's going to end up turning around to be, but who are you? So my whole point of bringing all this up is the fact that what if you're giving advice to people that may not be ready to receive it? You telling someone money doesn't mean a lot. Doesn't mean everything, because you may have some money, may have had experience to have money, and you try to tell someone, look, man, it's not that important. What's most important, the most important currency is relationships. You want to have some relationships that be able to get you where places that money can't buy, but no one's trying to hear that. How do you give the advice to that person that's not ready to receive? Or is it your responsibility to give the advice to the person that may not be ready to receive it? You know, is your responsibility to make sure they're ready? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's important for you to figure out if that person is ready. I think what's most important for you is to be the one, to be the messenger to do that. You might hurt their feelings in the process, You might make them upset. You may not look like the good person. You may look like a hater. But I think the best way to give advice to someone in 2021 or in life in general is to give the advice and just continue to just go ahead and give it if you care about the person. That's a whole nother caveat to it as well. If you care about the person, show the love to them. Tell them what you got to tell them in the best way you can. But it doesn't matter. You're going to still end up being a person that may not be telling them at the right time. You never know. I said it because of this. I know now what not now. Yeah. Let me go back. I do know now, and sometimes when someone has told me something that I wasn't ready to receive it, I'm able to go back and play it in my mind and say, oh, so and so did say that. And I'm so glad so and so told me that, even though I wasn't at that time ready to receive that. At least that person was obedient enough to actually say, let me tell you something, young blood, a young person, whatever it may be. Let me help you out with something. You may think that's important. You may not be ready ready to hear it now, but I'm telling you, what's most important is this. That person will come back and thank you later on and say, I'm so glad you told me that. So I was in college one time, right? With this, did campus ministry. A lot of people know I did campus ministry for a while and all that stuff. So in college, on the college campus, they knew me as Pastor Troy. And I didn't mind telling you how I was, right? Keeping it real sometimes keeping it real can be you're not keeping it too real. You're actually being stupid. But at this moment, it was this guy. See, I'm a big guy. I know I look skinny right here. But me being a big guy, I take my hygiene very seriously. I take it very seriously. I actually make sure that I don't be stinking. Right. So I carry myself in the best way I can, mannerably. My wife would tell you, man, I trip out when someone's, you smell like, oh, that ain't me. I try to make sure I smell better. I smell good all the time. But it was another guy, another big dude that was a part of the clique. They used to stink. I actually just being straight up, the guy used to stink, man. And I actually went to his homeboy, the guy that brought him along, and said, hey, man, you ever talk to so-and-so about the hygiene thing, man? He said, man, I don't know how to address it. I don't really know how to tell him that he stinks. But somebody, you know what? Why don't you do it? Okay, whatever. All right, I went to the guy and said, hey, man, look, I want to just break it down. I try to be as sweet as I can, the best way I can to be as not, cool as I could. And say, hey, man, being a big guy, and I went down the whole road, walking down the road, man, being a big guy, man, want to make sure we carry ourselves well. And man, I'm gonna just be honest with you, man, you stink. But I didn't say just straight like that, but I probably did. I say, look, man, it's a little older coming from you. You might want to go take a shower. Being big guys, we don't want to be stinking like that. He was upset with me though. Oh, I guess you big daddy telling me to go take a bath. No, I'm looking out for you because I care for you. And me being a big guy as well, I understand the difficulty of making sure you clean all the crevices. I get it. But man, I want to break this down to you, man, and just say, because I care about you, man, but you might want to take a shower and do some things to keep yourself up. You talking about finding a wife, you want to keep yourself together, man, let's go take a shower, keep yourself together. Don't matter how I would have told them. If you tell somebody their breath stink, you tell somebody they stink in general, you tell somebody they don't look cute, they're going to take it the way they can. But the thing is, you just got to be the messenger to show that you care about the person. Let me break it down to you, man. Hygiene. He came back later, though. He's pissed off at me in the front end, but he came back later and thanked me for that. Because next thing you know, you see him on campus carrying himself well, looking better, and all that stuff. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you can't be worried about if the person ready to receive it or not. All you got to do is do your part and look out for the person. Back to the whole money thing. I got a homeboy of mine that he's definitely a minimalist. I mean, they used to keep cans in the freezer. Him and his wife do they just very minimum folks. And I just had this big check come in. He didn't have cable at the house. Him and his wife, I asked him about a movie. Have they seen this movie? They said no. I knew they liked this certain movie. I said, man, ride with me to Best Buy. I'm thinking I'm showing love, right? So ride me to Best Buy. I went to Best Buy, bought me a couple things, then bought him a DVD and stuff. I just bought this new car, rolling clean, rolling nicely. And he said, Troy, man, just because you got it, don't mean you have to spend it. Just because you got the money to do certain things, you don't mean you have to buy this or buy that. I got a little pissed off. I said, man, who the heck are you talking about? Worried about, you don't have nothing. That's why you can say that. No, believe it or not, he had more money in the bank than I did. But the fact is, to come to find out he did. But the fact is that he's like, Troy, just because you got it, don't mean you have to spend it. I wasn't ready to receive it at that time. I said, man, after all days, you coming to be mad at me, say I'm not, worried about how I'm spending my money. I'm trying to bless you by giving you something. But guess what? He didn't ask for that. But he broke it down to me to tell me he planted a seed in me to let me know you don't have to spend it just because you got it. Money doesn't mean everything. That was my first seeing, money doesn't mean everything. I was thinking like Boost at the time when they said, why do you think like it? Well, I never had nothing. So for me being from the projects, and I can go to a car dealership and they say, Mr. Smith, here's your keys, and don't worry about signing anything. Just go ahead and leave and come back. We had the paperwork ready for you. Take the car with you. Go home with it. What? I can take this $70,000 car to the house and I ain't signed nothing. Just take it with you. Well, you're good. So I said, man, I ain't never had nothing. So if I never had it, I want to be able to go get it and be able to have the opportunity to do this stuff because no one ever told me I could drop off the showroom floor with a car. And what he was trying to tell me at that moment, I wasn't ready to receive it. But what he did is just being obedient to say, look, man, you don't have to spend money on everything you get. Just because you got it, don't mean you got to buy it. I wasn't getting it at first. And then I got it now. Now I get to understand the importance of why money doesn't mean everything. It's a great tool to have and let you do a lot of different things, but it doesn't fulfill you. Because as you hear a lot of people say, I'm gonna go get, I just got nothing. It's never enough. I got to keep going. Well, you don't. So the whole point is when someone wants advice, someone that you want to give advice to, your job is not to figure out, are they fully ready to receive it yet? If you see them going down the wrong path, you see them not doing something correctly, you need to go ahead and let them know, hey man, here's the opportunity to plant a seed. You won't see this now, but you'll get it later. As a parent, you learn that very well. You don't see it now. It's the reason why you don't touch that stove. It will burn you. You don't see it now. You'll see the importance of it. You don't want to plug this in right here because you might get shocked. You're not ready to properly plug this in just yet. What's your thoughts on that? Call in at the bottom, 615-745-9438, or send a message. Tell me your thoughts on it. So we got someone that mentioned plant the seeds of knowledge for tomorrow. True. Next one. Yeah. Let's go. Give me some advice now and give it to me now live. I think I know who that is, but that's the truth. My whole point of getting on, I was listening to my guy's show. He sparked that in me about how you can tell someone oftentimes, don't do this, don't do that. And they may not be ready. You may offend them. You look like a hater to them. They may be mad at you at that first time in the beginning, but they actually may come back later and say, thank you for doing that. I remember one time, my last story is this. I remember one time when I was in college, I asked my mom, I said, hey, look, I need some rent money. Can you please help me out? Because the last person I had in my reservoir to call was my mama. She said, Troy, I ain't got it. The classic, I ain't got it. When I'm like, I know you got it. You just worked 100 hours at this job. I know you got a couple dollars. Let me hold it till I get paid, but I ain't have a job. The best thing she could have did for me at that time, what she did was say no. Since she told me no, that made me get up that day and go figure it out and get it done. And to this day, I'm so thankful she told me no back then. I had a company I was raising money for. Raised a big first round of funds. It was big. Raised a lot of money. I went back to him because I was broke. We didn't have the money to do some certain things. I said, hey, so-and-so, we're coming back for round 2. Would you be interested to give? He said, no. If I had it, I would. He probably had it. But that's the best thing he could have told me was no. Even though I didn't want to hear it at that time, he told me no. At that moment, I was able to heed and learn from that time. So when I actually get it, I learned how to actually start spending money slowly, or spending money more properly than, or more, what's the best word? But spending money and with the budget compared to just spending it, because I didn't have It wasn't my money. I'm actually using someone else's money to grow the business. I went back to the same person, said, hey, can you give me more? And they said no. I went out to another angel investor, and they said no. A lot of people kept saying no, and I'm so thankful they told me no. I'm so thankful. A lot of females I try to highlight back in the day, or a relationship that I thought may happen, I said no to, or they said no to me. I'm so glad it worked out that no happened. They gave me some advice or something I didn't want to hear at that time. They told me no, what I didn't want to hear at that time, that I can go back to now and say, man, I'm so thankful that it didn't work. I want to be where I am today. So in 2021, when you're giving that advice and you're afraid if you're going to make sure you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, because we're in the age of not hurting people's feelings. Don't hurt nobody's feelings, man. Watch how you say that. Sometimes you got to be raw and up front, and sometimes you just got to be soft with it. Still what they say, the steel fist, velvet glove or something like that. But just be straight up with them and looking out for them because you care for them. And your job is not to figure out, are they fully ready yet? You just got to tell them what it is, and they will come back later and thank you for it. Hope that all makes sense. I'll holler at you. Look, thanks so much for tuning in today. The outcome of having a mindset of successful thinking is having an unwavering expectation of successfully achieving a predetermined goal, knowing that the outcome was supposed to happen. Remember, the two most important currencies in life are time and relationships. Time, you got to invest wisely because you can't get it back. Relationships get you places that money can't buy. I truly hope that impacted you or actually made sense to you. There's a lot going on with that, but I just want to let you know in 2021, as we go into this new era, new age of things, the normal is not normal anymore. But if you care for someone, you want to see them succeed in what they're doing, you just break it down to them, let them know how much you care and tell them the truth. They'll come back and thank you for it later on. That's how it always worked. I done it. I'll holler at you.